Welcome to the Startup Grind.
اول شيء اهلا وسهلا فيكم جميعا. اليوم احنا في حدث جديد من احداث ستارت اب جرايند. الناس اللي ما بتعرف ستارت اب جرايند هو حدث بصير حوالين العالم. هذا فرع غزة. احنا بنحاول دائما ان احنا نجيب شخصيات مهمة في موضوع الاعمال او مستثمرين او ريادين اعمال ليحكوا عن تجاربهم ولحتى الناس تستفيد منهم. الحدث اللي فات اللي حضروه كان اول مرة بنجيب حد من غزة، كان الاستاذ نعيم السكسك، واليوم معنا وراح نحكي اكثر. بيشتغل اكسلريشن مانجر وبيشتغل مع اكثر من اكسلريتور وله اكسبيرينس كبيره في موضوع الانتربرنور شيب. فاليوم راح نحكي معه اكثر. هلا مين حابب انه احنا نعمل بوز ونترجم شو بنحكى ونرجع نحكي كمان مره بالعربي؟ الجمهور. هلا الانترفيو راح تكون بالانجليزي. اذا حد حابب انه احنا نوقف شوي ونشتغل نحكيه بالعربي الكلام اللي بنحكى لحتى كل الناس تكون فاهمه. الانترفيو راح تكون لمدة 45 دقيقة، وبعديها في نص ساعة تقريبا راح يكون في يا
انا فرنسي بعرف شوي انجليزي
اوكي
بس ماشي حالي.
تمام. بعد هيك راح يكون في نص ساعة تقريبا أسئلة. فعشان الكل يكون فاهم أنا راح أعمل بوز بعد كل إجابة وراح أحاول أعملها تلخيص بالعربي لحتى الكل يوصل له المعلومة. ف welcome all the startup grind. And to kick off this interview, we want to know more about you. What do you do, and what's your background, and how you ended up in Gaza?
Thank you. Thank you for your welcome. I love Gaza is a beautiful place with very friendly people. So I'm having a good time here. So my background as an entrepreneur started 10 years ago. In the way that a lot of entrepreneurial journeys do. It was born out of frustration, and that manifests in in a number of different ways. But it was born out of frustration at the fact that there wasn't a lot to do in the area where I grew up for people my age. So rather than sitting around and waiting for someone else to organise things, I did. So I set up an events company. I ran all kinds of events, originally very small ones, running up to kind of 800 and then into the thousands. For people like me who wanted to engage with interesting things and do interesting things. So that was kind of where it all started for me. And I think since then, the idea of kind of working full time for anyone else is a bit alien to me. Partly, I'm quite straightforward. I can be quite blunt, and I'm not sure anyone would want me full time, even my other half. But that's where it started for me. So it started very small. Within a few years, I was kind of on site at most of the major music festivals in the UK, and kind of was living 3 months of the year out of a tent, which has all kinds of challenges and interesting situations. But kind of as I was doing that, I found that I was informally kind of mentoring, coaching, giving advice to a lot of other young entrepreneurs. And it got me really interested in the idea of support for entrepreneurs, whether they're commercial or social. I found that fascinating, and I thought there must be a better way of delivering that. Because there were bits and pieces of that going on around the UK at the time, but it hadn't quite kind of found momentum and turned into anything that was much more concrete than what I was looking for. So I was doing this. I was doing a lot of pro bono work for charities around strategy on the side, and I kind of fell sideways really into an entrepreneur residence position at an incubator. So I'd been running an events company which had done quite well. I had 2 startups that did not go well, and we can talk about that later because I think there's some useful learning there. And this incubator position came up, which was essentially advising and coaching their startups. So they had a lot of them, about 100 over the course of a year, so big program. Varying degrees of commitment from different teams. Some would be in every day, really going for it and making loads of progress. Others less so. But my job was to, again, not full time, but my role was to advise them and to put everything in place that we could to help them succeed. And we had a really good year. We had an award-winning year. We got quite a lot of recognition. The incubator was part of the SETsquared partnership, which is formally recognised now as the #1 university incubator in the world. So it was a great year. Alongside that, we were building up a network of people in the southwest of the UK who were running social enterprises and were keen to help each other out and do market development and networking type events. So I did that, and I learned a lot from it, and I'm sure we'll talk about some of that later. And then I got offered a position working for a national funder. So the leading funder of social entrepreneurs in the UK is called UnLtd. They put about £6 million a year into social entrepreneurs, either directly or indirectly through funding incubators and accelerator type programs. So my experience as an entrepreneur has kind of gone through commercial, but then also into support. So I've been through 2 incubators myself, 2 different ones. I've essentially managed an incubator. I've funded incubators and accelerators, and now my company, Uncaged Ventures, works with partners to design and deliver support programs. So we've worked with about 7 universities in the UK to help them structure incubation acceleration programs, and we also go in and we run quite a lot of those programs. But we also work with charities and community groups doing a similar thing, and work as a delivery partner for national programs as well. So when a pot of money gets put up to support entrepreneurs in the UK, but they need kind of boots on the ground and people to logistically manage that and make it happen, that's where we come in.
Interesting. هلا رح نحاول نترجم. هو نبدا من الاخر. هو حاليا بيشتغل في Uncaged Ventures وهي مؤسسه بتحاول تساعد الانكوبيتورز والاكسلريتور حوالين العالم انهم ينظموا الشغل تبعهم، تحاول تقدم لهم الدعم. غير هيك كان قبل هيك بيشتغل في الفاندنج، فكان بيعمل فاندنج لاكثر من انكوبيتور. قبل هيك كان بيشتغل في الانكوبيتور نفسها، كان بدير انكوبيتورز اكسلريتور. قبل هيك بخطوه كمان كان تبكل غازا الالكتريسيتي. قبل هيك انه كان بيشتغل كانتربرنور. عمل شركتين وما عرف ينجح فيهم، يعني ما نجحوا، وهو راح يحكي لنا اكثر كيف هو بيتعامل مع موضوع انه كيف الستارت اب اللي انت بتعملها او الفكره ما تزبط، وهذا شيء طبيعي. قبل هيك كان بيحاول انه يدور على شيء يشتغل فيه، عشان هيك صار انتربرنور، لانه كان بيشتغل كتير على شغلات روتينيه وكذا، وكان هو مش حاسس انه هذا المجال هو بحبه، ما كانش حاسس انه ممكن يداوم في شغل فتره طويله، فكان بدور على شغل خاص فيه، وهذا اللي خلاه يبدا حياته كانتربرنور. هلا لحد هون وبيشتغل برضه في نوعين من الانتربرنور شيب. في حاجه بنسميها احنا سوشيال انتربرنور شيب، في حاجه بنسميها كوميرشال انتربرنور شيب. ف this question is based on what you've said, like what's the difference, because I know most of the people doesn't know the difference between a social entrepreneurship and or an entrepreneurship or a startup in general.
Sure. So social enterprises are commercial businesses, so they run like a startup, but they're set up so that they have a social mission at the absolute heart of what they do. So often they will reinvest profit. So they might sell a product or a service, and they will reinvest the profit to achieve sometimes the kind of things that charities are often set up to do. So we work with social enterprises that are set up to their businesses, but they are also providing employment for people who've been to prison and can't find work, or people who have been long-term unemployed. So yeah, they're businesses that are driven by social mission and by trying to make the world a better place, as much as they are about just making money like a commercial one.
كنت بسأل ايش الفرق بين السوشيال انتربرنور شيب او الريادة الاجتماعية وريادة الأعمال بشكل عام. فهو كان بيحكي لنا انه السوشيال انتربرينورشيب زي ما بتكون رياده الاعمال او واحد لما بيبدا شركه خاصه او بيبدا شركه تجاريه بيكون الهدف النازع اللي بخليك تعمل الشركه هو الربح والمصاري. في السوشيال انتربرينورشيب بيكون الهدف انك تخدم المجتمع ويكون اكثر انه ناحيه المجتمع نفسه وانك تفيد المجتمع. فهو اشتغل مع شركات كانت بتحاول توفر وظائف للناس اللي هم طلعوا من السجون حديثا، فما بكون عندهم خبره فبتعلمهم وبتحاول تنتج منهم منتجات. فهذا الفرق بين السوشيال انتربرينورشيب والانتربرينورشيب. واللي اشتغل مع النوعين من ستارت ابس. Okay. So since you've been working with a lot of accelerators, incubators, and everything, and basically you were an entrepreneur in residence, you've been in both places, like in all places basically. You've been the founder, and the incubator manager. So if we want to talk to the entrepreneurs in the whole, like, what's the point of joining an incubator and accelerator? Like, why do you join such a thing?
I think incubators and accelerators can give you a whole lot more than you could access on your own. So all of the ones that we work with have amazing networks. So they have advisors, they have specialists that are willing to help and willing to offer their time. That's much more difficult to get sometimes outside of an incubator or accelerator. A lot of them have mentors, so someone to sit down on a regular basis with you and look at.
الشغله الثالثه بتديك مساحه، المساحه هاي زي ما انت شايف بصير فيها ايفنتس، بصير فيها ناس بتيجي ناس بتروح، فبتصير تتعرف على اشياء جديده، بتلاقي ناس تحاول تحل معك المشكله اللي انت مواجهها، مش بتفكر لحالك. فالفكره انك انت تجتمع في الناس وتوصل لناس اكثر عن طريق الاكسلريتور وتوصل للنولج اعلى. يعني الخبره تبعت الناس اللي بوصلوا لك اياها بتريحك من كتير شغلات انت ممكن تواجهها بنفسك. يعني اذا انت قعدت مع واحد عمل شركه وما نجحتش، فانت ممكن تستفيد من تجربه اللي ما نجحتش معه وتحاول انك تعدلها في البزنس تبعك. فهذا اهم شيء في ليش البني ادم المفروض يشارك في انكوبيتر او اكسلريتور. So I've joined an accelerator and everything, and I'm fine. And then my startup didn't work. Like, how do a normal entrepreneur approach failure?
We embrace it. Actually, I think failure is a part and parcel of trying. Right? If you fail, it means you tried at something, and you know wasn't easy. We learn more when we fail than when things go really well. I think if everything goes well and the company's growing and everything's fine, we assume that everything is fine. Whereas actually there might be lots of small things that aren't quite working, but because the overall picture is positive, we kind of either brush it under the carpet or we just don't notice it. So when something fails, it means we've tried and it means we can learn. So we step back, we look at why things didn't work out, and we try to make sure that we learn from it. You know, I know investors who will not invest in a company. If I will not invest in a company, thank you. I know investors who won't invest in a company unless the founder can talk about their failure and can explain that and can explain what they learned about it. Do you want to translate and then I'll carry on?
Yeah. So هنترجم المقطع هذا. أنا بسأل طب إحنا اشتركنا في حاضنة أو عملنا مشروع أو فكرة. طب وفشلت الفكرة هاي، إيش بدنا نسوي؟ ليش بنسأل هذا السؤال؟ لأن إحنا كعرب المفروض إنه إحنا بنعترفش بأخطائنا بسهولة، يعني بدنا نداري على الموضوع ونحاول نجمله ونطلع بأحسن صورة. بالضبط. فالفكرة اللي هو بيحكيها لا، إنه إحنا المفروض نتقبل الفشل. يعني من الشغلات اللي حكاها كتير مهمة إن أنت لو رحت تجيب استثمار من مستثمر وما حكيتلوش عن إشي فشل في حياتك، هو مش راح يديك مصاري، لأنه هو متأكد إنك أنت ما تعلمتش. الفكرة اللي هم بيحكوها أكتر إنك أنت لما الاشي بزبطش فانت بتحاول تدور على الشغلات اللي صارت غلط وبتحاول تصلحها، وهذا اللي بيخلي شركتك تكبر. بينما لو الاشي زبط وكل اشي كان تمام، ممكن يكون في شغلات مش مزبوطة بس انت ما تنتبه لهاش، لانه احنا بنتبع على الصورة الكبيرة انه كل اشي زبطت المشروع صار فيه مصاري. ممكن يكون في اشي غلط بس انت بتنتبهلوش او بتاخدش بالك منه. وزي ما هو بيحكي في التعبير انه احنا بنحطه تحت السجادة، زي ما بيحكوا بيكون عندك شوية تراب فبتروح بتخبيه تحت السجادة، خلاص يعني انه كل اشي تمام بصير. فالفشل احد الطرق اللي انت تتعلم فيها وتكتسب اشي جديد وتشوف ايش اخطائك وتحاول تتطور كبني ادم او كشركه او كستارت اب. I translated until
yeah, so failure. I've had 4 startups altogether. 2 have failed. The two that failed taught me lots, and I think so. I had one that I was working managing events. They had on-site medical cover, so paramedics or first aid, that kind of thing, and it was variable. Sometimes it was very good, sometimes not so good, and we saw an opportunity there. I set a company up with two people who worked for the health service to combine my event experience with their medical knowledge and provide staffing for that. That fell apart because we didn't have the same priorities, and I think that's the key thing that I've learned from both the startups I had that didn't work out. Was I had the connections and was driven and wanted to scale very quickly and grow very fast and have lots of staff all over these festivals all over the UK. And about 6 months in, we realised that actually the two of them just wanted a bit of extra money on top of their normal job, just for nice things. Both of those are equally valid. Like, my opinion is not more important than theirs, but it didn't work as a group of us. It didn't work. And the other failure I had was a tech company, and again it came down to co-founders. Things were going well. We interviewed for Techstars. We were doing augmented reality for film. Things were going really well, but again, co-founders' circumstances and visas and those kind of complications meant it didn't happen. But I think the thing I've learned from both of them is to be really clear with co-founders about expectations, about goals, and about the practicalities. Like, can we actually do this? Does it work for all of us?
So you two have like visa problems and stuff like this. Like هو برضه عندهم مشكلة في الفيز زينا. فويل كان بيحكي عن الشركتين اللي هو عملهم. ويل لما بدأ يعرف عن حاله حكى انه مش عارف اذا انتم انتبهتوا للقصة هاي، انه هو كان بعيش في خيمة لمدة 3 شهور عشان يعمل ايفنتس كبيرة في بريطانيا فيها آلاف الناس بيحضروا موسيقى وكذا. فويل من شغلانته الأولانية كان شايف انه دايما في الايفنت الكبير بيكون في حاجة يسموها التأمين الصحي، وهذا التأمين بيكونوا الناس بتحاول تعمله عشان الحفلة تكون تمام. فمن الشروط انه يكون في عندك تأمين صحي على الناس اللي جوا. فهو شاف فرصة وشاف انه عنده معارف كتير من شغلانته كايفنت مانجر، فقرر انه يعمل ستارت اب. وهون الستارت اب الاولانية ما زبطت، والستارت اب الثاني برضه ما زبطت لنفس السبب، اللي هو الاختلاف في البرايورتيز او الاولويات بالنسبة للناس اللي بيشتغلوا في الفريق. فهو كان هدفه انه شايف انه في فرصة كويسة في السوق، ومعارفه من شغلانته السابقة كانت بتساعده انه يكبر البزنس هذا بسرعة. بس الناس اللي كانوا بيشتغلوا معاه كانوا شايفينها فرصة أكتر عشان يجيبوا شوية مصاري، مش عشان إنهم يكبروا شركة كبيرة، إنه شغل ودوام وبناخد شوية مصاري. فكانت فرق الأولويات بين ويل وبين الناس اللي معاه كان أحد الأسباب اللي خلى الشركة مش تكبر، تصغر. إنه هو كان عنده الرغبة والطموح إنه يكبر الشركة، وهم كان عندهم الرغبة بس إنهم ياخدوا راتب آخر الشهر. فهذه من الشغلات اللي ما زبطت. ويل كان عنده 4 ستارت ابس، 2 منهم ما زبطوا معاه. I hope you will talk more about the startups that made it. Yeah, sure.
So yeah, like I said, there's been 2. So one, like I said, events company. I would call it successful. A lot of people. So we're very modest English people, so I struggle with talking about myself too much. But yeah, events company, very successful. Did a mixture of corporate events and kind of relaxation stuff for the weekends. Had a team of up to about 4 before I kind of stepped sideways and started doing something else. I learned a lot from it. I think the main thing I learned was that sometimes you agree to things and then work out how to do it later, which I think is a kind of fake it till you make it type thing that a lot of startups have. People say, oh, well, we saw that you did this, can you do this other similar thing? And you go, yeah, of course we can. And then you hang up the phone and you go, how do we do that? And you like go on Google and you talk to everyone really, really quickly and you work out how to do what you said you would do. So I think that constant learning thing is really important in a startup, but also to be aware that sometimes you can turn around and say you don't know how to do stuff. So, you know, again, that's why incubators and accelerators are so good, because they're full of people that you can go to and say, I don't understand this, or I don't know how to do this. So yeah, we ran a range of events under a range of brands mainly in the southeast, across the UK. And my other, I suppose it's probably post startup now, but the other one is Uncaged Ventures. So like I said, we work with 12 or so partners, putting together and delivering programs, which is awesome, because I think when I managed an incubator, I got to see the impact of my work on one group of people, on one cohort, whereas now I get to see the impact on 12, 15 different cohorts, which is awesome.
من الشركات اللي نجحت مع ويل كانت شركة بتهتم بالايفنتس، والايفنتس المختصة بالبراندز الكبيرة. الشركات الكبيرة لما بتحاول تعمل ايفنت لنفسها. الشركة الثانية اللي نجحت اللي هي Uncaged Ventures، اللي هو حاليا بيشتغل فيها. وانكيجد كانت بتساعد الانكوبيترز، خصوصا انه تديهم السبورت وتعلمهم كيف يعملوا الشغل تبعهم احسن. واحدة من الانكوبيترز اللي بيشتغلوا معاها مصنف رقم 1 كأحسن انكوبيتر جامعية في بريطانيا كلها. فهذه من الشغلات اللي نجحت. الشغله اللي بيحكي عنها اكثر كمان كيف الشغلات تنجح، انه هو كان دائما بتعلم. يعني كان ما بيحكيش لا انا بعرفش اعمل إشي، كان بحاول انه يروح يشوف الناس كيف بتعملها ويحاول يتعلم ويشتغلها هو بنفسه. وفي شغلات كان هو برضه بيكون صريح مع نفسه انه هاي الشغله مش ممكن نعملها، فكان بتعلم انه كيف يحكي لا انه انا بعرفش I don't know يعني. فهذه من الشغلات اللي ولا تعلمها من النجاح. So well, during your visit in Gaza, like you met a couple of entrepreneurs from different. So, how do you see them? Like, what's so good about them? What's the gaps that we can work to develop? And as individuals, like how do you feel? Like, are they similar to other entrepreneurs you've met around the world?
I've met a lot of entrepreneurs all over the world. There are challenges, right, to running a startup in Gaza. There are a lot of challenges, which I think I wasn't aware of all of them before I came here, but now I have a much better understanding of them. But the fact that in spite of the challenges, you have as many people as you do, setting up startups, coming into the space, running events like this, I think is testament to you guys. So I think that's really encouraging and really motivating. I think, what's the second part of the question?
What kind of gaps do you?
What kind of gaps? Yeah, I think the ecosystem of support for entrepreneurs here is still developing. In other countries we work in, there are tons of events, tons of organisations, tons of accelerators, and there's a lot of shared learning. There's a lot of events where they share how things are going between themselves, and they learn from one another. And we had a meeting at UCAS today, which I hope will kind of push that agenda forward a little bit here in Gaza, because there are organisations doing amazing stuff, and there are startups doing amazing stuff, and something magic happens when you pull those people together and get them talking to each other, and suddenly things become greater. We say like greater than the sum of its parts, and that's when we really start. There is a community here, and it's growing into an ecosystem, but it needs all of us to contribute so that we all benefit.
كنت بسأل انت لما جيت على غزة قابلت كتير من الستارت ابس، يعني سواء كانوا في غزة كايكس او برا غزة كايكس، فكيف شايفهم مقارنة بالانتربرنورز حوالين العالم؟ فهو كان بيحكي انه يعني رائعين، يعني كتير كويسين الانتربرنورز اللي كان شايفهم في غزة، فانتاستيك حسب ما هو حكى، وبيعملوا شغل كتير مهم. هو اول بيحكي برضو انه هو برضو متأكد انه في كتير عقبات، يعني هم بيحكوا مع الشغله بيزد على الشغلات اللي هم بيشوفوها، يعني ايش العقبات الموجوده عندك وانت قديش محاول انك تعمل. فمع العقبات اللي كتير الناس شافهم منجزين شغلات كتير، فهذا اشي كتير مهم بالنسبه لهم وشايفينه كتير كويس. ايش الشغلات الناقصه في غزه عشان يصير في عنا ريادين اعمال صح وشركات صح؟ انه الايكو سيستم او البيئه الداعمه لرياده الاعمال مش موجوده. يعني انت لما بتروح على بريطانيا بتلاقي مثلا 20 ايفنت، 50 مؤسسه، 60 داعم ومستثمرين من القطاع الخاص او من برا. هذول كلهم بيحاولوا انهم يدعموا الشاب، انه ياكدوا له انه انت لو فكر او حاول يشتغل على شغله، في ناس كتير راح تكون موجوده حواليه وتساعده. اليوم احنا ويل كجاز كايكس اند ويل كنا عاملين اول اجتماع للايكو سيستم في السنه هاي في الكليه الجامعيه، جبنا كل الحاضنات وكذا لحتى نحاول انه نسكر هاي الجاب ونحاول انه احنا نكون بيشتغل مع بعضه. لسه الطريق طويله، لسه احنا بنبني في المجتمع، بس لحتى الان هو شايف انه الانتربرنورز في غزه كثير مميزين وكثير بيشتغلوا على حالهم، وان شاء الله في المستقبل راح يصير احسن. So, well, you were working as an entrepreneur in residence and you were helping like tons of startups during your life. So when helping startups, you're helping basically like different companies every day. Like every time a company comes with different customers so how do you make up ideas? Like how do you get ideas that can help them? Like how do you work with a startup? Like for today you're working with a music industry, tomorrow you're working with a business to business. So and they need help and you need to think about stuff that can help them or guidance. So how do you come up with ideas as an entrepreneur?
So, first of all, you don't know everything. So you hopefully, if you've hopefully built a good network of people who are specialists in particular industries. So if there's very specific industry type questions, then they've got someone to go to. But I was always amazed by how much startups already know, like how much knowledge people individually have, and that actually sometimes it's about empowering them or creating space for them to think as much as it is about telling them what the answer to the question is. So I tend to coach a lot rather than just kind of mentoring and giving straight answers. I tend to ask a lot of questions because the people who know their startup best are the people who are running that startup. They know the industry best, they know where they sit in it, they know what the competition's like. So it would be silly for me to try and get up to speed on an equal footing to them. So I ask a lot of questions and I learn from them. It's a two entrepreneur in residence positions. It's a two-way relationship. It's not just about them asking you questions and you giving them an answer. It's about them teaching you as well. And that requires being quite honest and quite open. But I think that way both sides benefit.
So, well كان واحدة من وظائفه إنه يكون entrepreneur residence، وentrepreneur residence هو الريادي المقيم. لما بنكون في مسرعة أعمال برا بكون في حد ريادي بكون موجود، ما عندوش ستارت اب بس موجود في المكان وبكون عنده خبرة كبيرة. فالستارت ابس الجداد بحاولوا انهم يلجأوا له للمساعدة وكذا. فأنا كنت بسأله أنت كحد بيشتغل هذه الشغلانة بيجوك شركات كتير كل واحد في مجال كل واحد في تخصص، فكيف بتقدر تجاوب عليهم؟ يعني كيف كل يوم تقدر تجاوب على شركة جديد تخصص جديد صناعة جديدة أنت بتعرفش عنها أي إشي؟ فويل كان بيقول إنه أنت بتعرفش كل إشي، يعني مستحيل بني آدم يكون بيعرف كل الأجوبة في العالم. فهو كان بيستعين بالنتورك اللي هي زي ما كنا بنحكي عن مسرعة الأعمال أو الحاضنة اللي هي مجموعة الناس اللي بيكونوا بيعملوا لك سبورت أو بيدعموك. فهو كان دائما بيلجأ لهم عشان هم يساعدوه إنه كمان يوصل إجابة أحسن. الشغلة الثانية إنه كان بيتعلم من الستارت اب، يعني كان بيتعلم من الناس الرياديين، لأن هم المفروض لما يكون عندهم شركة فهم شايفين فرص في السوق، هم أكتر ناس عارفين يوصلوا لها. فهو كان أكتر مش بديهم إجابات، هو كان بديهم طرق إنهم يفكروا صح عشان يوصلوا الإجابة صح على المشكلة اللي هم بواجهوها. فهذه كانت من الشغلات اللي هو بحاول يعملها. Before we, I mean, one of the last questions, like, how do you keep yourself motivated? Like, you've been through a lot, like moving from a tent to a venture capital, like.
For me, it's the motivation comes from two things. I think, firstly, the absolute belief that what you're doing is really important. So, when I wake up in the morning, the first thing I think about is pretty much is what I'm going to be doing at work. And the reason for that is not because I'm obsessed with work or because I work too hard. The reason for it is because being an entrepreneur allows you to do the stuff you think is really important, right? So you shape work around what your priorities are and what you think is important, as much as it is about, you know, helping other people and answering their needs too. And I think the second thing around motivation is about people, right? Startups and tech, and it can get the conversation get very focused on metrics, and I know we're doing customer acquisition next, so I'm choosing my words carefully, but fundamentally, like, it's all about people. Like, startups are people powered, support organizations are people powered, and there's an energy that comes from surrounding yourself with great people who are passionate and are driven and are doing great things. And that's the reason why often, you know, if I'm in town, I'll go and work in an accelerator or an incubator. Even if I'm not a member of it, I'll go and sit even if I've got no idea what the people around me are working on, or I don't speak the language, there's just a certain buzz that comes with surrounding yourself with people like that.
كنت بسأل انه انت كنت ساكن في خيمة وبعدين صرت متحكم في فند قيمته 6 مليون جنيه استرليني بتوزعه على ناس. فكيف بتخلي حالك انك انت موتيفيتد؟ كيف بتحفز حالك؟ يعني كيف بتيأسش؟ فهو كان بيقول انه اهم شيء هو كان بحاول انه يشتغل عليه انه يفكر ايش بده يعمل بكره، يعني كيف انه يآمن في الشغله اللي هو بيعملها. بالضبط، ويآمن في شغله، يعني يآمن في الشغله اللي هو بيعملها، يآمن انه هو ممكن يعمل اشي، وكل يوم الصباح يفكر في ايش بده يعمل اليوم في الشغل، مش لانه هو مهووس في الشغل تبعه، بس لانه هذه الشغلات اللي بتدي لليوم تبعه قيمه، انه بتخليه يعرف يعيش اليوم يخلصه للاخر، انه بدي يعمل اشي جديد اليوم. الشغله الثانيه اللي كان بيحكي عنها هي البني ادمين، انك تحوط حالك في بني ادمين برضه بيحاولوا انهم يشتغلوا كتير على نفسهم ويحاولوا انهم يعملوا اشي. يعني وائل بقول انا لما بكون في مدينه جديده علي، مش منها، بحاول اروح اي مكان زي هيك، زي اكسلريتور او انكوبيتور او حاضنه او مسرعه، واقعد هناك حتى لو بحكيش نفس اللغه، بس في اشي من انه الناس بتكون بتتحرك حواليك وبتحاول تشتغل على اشي بحافزك، انه بخليك انت كمان بدك تعمل شغله. فهذا من الشغلات اللي that keeps him motivated. So a question from the context of what we were talking about, you were focusing always on people, like people are the most important element in your career, like. So for a CEO of a startup, sometimes the ego of coming up with the idea and makes you forget like the roles of other people within your team. Like you start treating people based on what they do rather than what their part in your dream is. So how do you advise people to CEOs or startup founders to work with their team members?
Don't treat them as roles. Treat them as people. Like startups succeed or fail a lot of time based on the team, and it's a CEO's job to lead that team, but not to dictate to that team kind of how they do things. So the way we work at Uncaged is to be very goal focused, but less prescriptive on the detail of it. So I might say to someone on my team, this is what we need to achieve, work out how we get there, right? And giving people that power actually means everyone on my team all feel like entrepreneurs, because they have that power, and we don't do like lawyers do, where it's like, oh, you've got to do 6 minutes on this, and then all your time is split into like 6-minute blocks or hours or anything like that. We do like, this is what we need to achieve, and we're going to work together to get there. And if whatever you need, tell me, and whatever I need, I'll tell you. And as a group, we'll work there. It's a very flat hierarchy, the way we operate, but it gets results, right? Like everyone on my team is happy, everyone is productive, everyone is getting stuff done without us being kind of like prescriptive on how they go about doing exactly what they do. People work in different ways, and if you give someone a goal, they'll work out their way of getting there in their own style, and sometimes actually that's really creative and loads better than the way I probably would have thought of doing it anyway.
لما احنا كنا بنحكي مع وائل كان دايما بركز انه البني ادمين هم اهم شيء، يعني لما بده يحفز حاله بروح عند بني ادمين، الناس اللي كانوا معاه هم اللي كانوا سبب يا اما شركته تنجح او تفشل. فكنا بنساله انه احنا عندنا بالوطن العربي بشكل عام لما الواحد بفكر بشركه او شيء بيكون انا تبعه كتير عالي، وببدا يتعامل مع الناس اللي بيشتغلوا معاه بشكل اقل شوي، وببدا يتعامل معهم كناس بحطهم في وظائف وخلص، انه انا بدي مبرمج وخلص وهي شغلانته، وضلوا يتعامل معك كانه مبرمج. فانك تسيب الموظف اللي بيشتغل معك او الشخص اللي بيشاركك في شركتك يوصل للهدف هذا بطريقته هو، ممكن تكون طريقته ابداعيه اكثر من انت كنت بتفكر فيها، ممكن يفكر في شغله احسن بكتير ما انت كنت متخيل، ويوصلك لهدف، وانت كمان تتعلم شغلات جديده كمان. فهذه من الشغلات اللي كان بنصحها. Now we've finished the regular interview for Startup Grind. No, you can stay. So now we'll have questions from the audience. I will try to facilitate as well. هلا احنا خلصنا ال question and answer اللي هي المين تبع Startup Grind. هلا في عندنا نص ساعة اللي هو ممكن أي حد يسأل ويل إيش ما بده، احنا نحاول ويل حيجاوب. فلو حد عنده أي سؤال.
I think it's very similar. I think it's very similar actually.
The general plan
Yeah. Yeah.
Concept your project.
And and we do that.
Also to do something to do evaluation
Yeah.
every year. Monitoring every month, for example, and evaluation every year to know where your project.
So we have 3 different ways of measuring things, and our researcher would be much better at having this conversation with you. So I'm happy to link you 2 up after, but I can enlighten you as to the extent of my knowledge. So it works in a very similar way. So when we run programs, we have a baseline at the beginning, so we're aware of what the situation is with each of those before we start, and then we have progressive management as they work their way through. That's a mixture of kind of quantitative analysis with a lot of numbers and a lot of data, and qualitative analysis through case studies and interviews and that kind of thing. And we also look at the organisation that's running that program, and we monitor, evaluate how they're doing as well. So we split it into kind of long-term impact, kind of over maybe 3 to 5 years. And in the case of entrepreneurs, that might be job creation or revenue generated. We look at short-term outcomes that may serve as proxy indicators of that or might not. And then we look at what we call ODMs, or organizational development milestones. So ongoing evaluation as to the ability of the organization to deliver that program, so that hopefully by the end of a program they're able to do it themselves, and next time they can just run with it. So yeah, super important. And if you're interested in hearing more about it, I'll connect you with my researcher.
Thank you, Mr.
And the other one was on how do you avoid making the same mistake when it comes to co-founders, right? I think when I started, I think it's hire people, not just focusing on the job role. So the first couple of times around when I made the mistake about priorities, I was very focused on the professional background of my co-founders. So it was, I need someone who's really good at marketing and has that background and is interested in working with me on this. Or for some, it's, I need someone who really understands finance and can talk to me about that. And that is like, that's really important. It's important that they have the skills to do the job, but actually, I think maybe even sometimes what's more important is that you kind of click and you can work together, because you can take someone you work really well with and you can train them a bit more, and that's kind of what we do with some of our team at the moment. You take someone, they're fairly good at what they do, you train them and they get really good at what they do. If we started off with someone who was really good at what they did but we didn't get on with, or had different priorities to us, that's a bit of a difficult situation to kind of manage your way out of. So for us, it's being really open early on and saying, what are your goals? Like, what do you want to achieve with this? What does success look like as well? Like, that's a key question we keep coming back to. Like, if this goes really well, what do you want it to look like? And also, to hire people, not just job roles, because people are complicated. People are probably much more complicated than any job role, right? Like, marketing is marketing, finance is finance. It's hard, but it's nowhere near as hard as understanding people.
Thank you. السؤالين كانوا، السؤال الأول كيف أنت بتراقب المشروع وكيف أنت بتحاول تقيمه وكيف تحط خطة للمراقبة. فويل كان بيقول إنه الدكتور خالد برضو الاثنين اشتركوا في نفس الإجابة تقريبا، إنه أول شيء بتفهم شو بدك تعمل، بتفهم المشكلة وبتحللها وبتكون فاهمها بشكل ممتاز، وبعدين بتحط خطة لإدارة المشكلة، البروجكت اللي أنت بدك تعمله أو الحل اللي بدك تعمله، وبتراقبها بشكل دوري، ما بتستنى للآخر لحتى تراقبها، لأن لحتى تعرف إيش المشاكل اللي صارت عندك أو كذا. وويل بيحكي كمان إنه في 3 شغلات إحنا في 3 شغلات نطلع عليها في أي مشروع. هو الشورت جولز، شورت تيرم جولز، إيش الشغلات اللي بتصير بسرعة وبنحس فيها، وفي اللونج تيرم امباكت للمشروع تبعك على الناس أو على الكوميونتي أو على البزنس. وفي عندك الاو دي امز او الاورجانيزيشنال ديفلوبمنت مايلستونز، هو انه مش بس المؤسسه المطلوب منها او المشروع او الشركه مطلوب منها بس انها تعمل المشروع هذا وخلاص، مطلوب منها انها هي كمؤسسه تتطور في خلال عملها للمشروع بحيث انها تقدر تكرره كم مره وكم مره وكم مره وانها تكبر. ففي تطوير للمؤسسه، في تطوير للمشروع، مراقبه له ومراقبه للعاملين، وفي تطلع للاهداف اللي بتصير بعد هيك بعد هذا. بالنسبه للسؤال الثاني، سؤال منال انه كيف الواحد بنقي كو فاوندرز كويسين، لانه كانت مشكلته انه ما بيقدر ينقي كو فاوندرز، فكان اجابته انه الناس دائما بتطلع على البروفيشنال باك جراوند. يعني انا بدي اجي اوظف واحد بقول انا بدي واحد في الماركتينج، فبروح بدور على احسن واحد في الماركتينج وبجيبه. انه بكون عنده خبره كتير عاليه 10 سنين خبره و20 سنه خبره وخلص بكون هو كتير ممتاز واكيد حيعمل الشغل اللي انا بدي اياه. الفكره اللي بحكي عنها اول انه البروفيشنال باك جراوند مش كتير باهميه قديش انت وياه بتقدروا تشتغلوا مع بعض. يعني وين بقول انه انت لو قابلت واحد وما كانش عنده الخبره العاليه كتير انه ها، بس لو انت بتعرف تشتغل معه انت ممكن تعلمه وانت ممكن تحكي له تعلم كذا، هو يحب انه يتعلم كذا لانه حب يشتغل معك. ف okay, so this is to what extent you can balance between the synergy or how you both can work together and the professional experience.
There's no easy answer, to be honest. It's a case by case thing. I think if you can see what someone could become, then obviously you can cut a lot more slack than you would if you can't. So we have interns sometimes, and some of them will come in and they'll do their job and they'll go home, and others will come in and they're super keen and they want to learn and they'll ask they'll ask me loads of questions, and those are the ones that those are the ones that we really focus on, because we can tell that they're kind of like thirsty for that knowledge, and if we give it to them and we can upskill them a bit, then they're going to be really, really good at the job that we give them. So yeah, no easy answer. It's a game like that, and people change as well, right? People change, so it's hard.